Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 6 p.m. class of yoga tonight. Thanks for tuning on in. You can go ahead and grab some of our props for tonight. And some of the props that we will be needing is we will definitely need 2 blocks. And then you can immediately place them towards the front of the mat over here. A blanket for some additional comfort and padding for our class. And if you by chance have a yoga strap, you could come and bring in a strap for class 2. And if you don't have a strap, sometimes I like to get a little creative and use my gym exercise rope or a belt, possibly. A scarf can work too. Just really anything that's strap-like. You can use your imagination on whatever you have at your house. And then the strap, you can go ahead and just set it off to the side. We're not going to need it quite yet. And I also grab some water too for today's class. So last week we worked with Kundanyasana variation 2 for our peak pose, party pose, the difficult or the ascending pose for our practice. And I wanted to kind of navigate going into Kundanyasana version 1, but I decided that I would like to try and explore that for next week, for the fact that I've had a few questions from last class on how we can, like some questions were like, how can I improve more in my arm balancing? What other workouts that you can kind of transcribe into yoga that to help strengthen core or helping us lift our core into that asana, and just aspects like that. And just in case if we forgot what Kundanyasana 2 was, or maybe in case you didn't participate in that class, Kundanyasana 2 is a arm balance / core pose. Good. I use my mat. Where the easiest way that I get into it is coming in from a lizard pose, having the elbows down into the right thigh and the left core, and straightening out both legs here. Keeping the core up, legs straight, feet flexed. And then for the first variation, it's a little more difficult because we have to navigate coming more into a twist and to have almost like a split-like action with our legs. So they're kind of crisscrossing. And so with Kundanyasana 1, we would have to kind of come into a side crow, and then we would have to kind of scissor our legs, where the left leg is going towards the right and the right leg going towards the back of the room. And so I decided that we will work on that next week. But today we're going to go through some yoga poses that will help work on the general area of our lower core, strengthening out through the spine, as well as with our arms here too. So with that being said, we're actually going to start standing up today, and we're going to go ahead and come to the tops of our mat. But as we come to the top of our mat, we're going to find ourselves coming into an Uttanasana forward fold to start. So before we kind of find that static position here, we could go ahead and have our legs more than hip length apart here. And find a hip hinge, coming into a half lift, finding that straight spine, pressing the hands onto the shins, sending the tailbone back, the top of the crown towards the front of the mat here. And allow yourself to breathe with your Ujjayi breath. And if you remember what that Ujjayi breath is, it's that breath that we work more and breathe more with our diaphragm rather than just inhaling and exhaling out of our lungs. And then as we exhale through the throat, almost like we're cleansing it, similar to the noise that Darth Vader makes in Star Wars, where we take a deep inhale in through the nose. And as we inhale, we kind of want to bring our breath in from our stomach inwards and up our rib cage, engaging the core. And then as we keep the diaphragm in, we're going to exhale and make that Ujjayi Darth Vader sounding breath. Let's go ahead and do 2 more together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the throat. Still keeping that core engaged. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the throat. Core engagement. And using this breath throughout some of the practices that we will need our core for will help keep us balanced and to keep us engaged as we breathe. And you can go ahead and start to navigate your own Ujjayi breath, and slowly as you breathe, keeping a straight spine, coming into a hip hinge forward fold. Taking your time through each breath so that we can try to keep a straight spine without a severe rounding into the lumbar area. So sending that tailbone towards the back of the mat, engaging the back core, and sending the chest, the inside of the chest towards the back shoulders here, but leading with it forward as we hinge. And you'll notice as we use this Ujjayi breath, and we're keeping the straight spine, that we're getting deeper into our asana. Taking your time in this forward fold, allowing yourself to create a deeper hinge, keeping that straight spine, stretching out through the hamstrings, just to loosen up the lower spine for the beginning of our practice and the beginning of our grounding. You can take your hands behind your calves as you send your tailbone back to assist your spine nice and straight and to get into a deeper hip hinge forward fold. Allowing yourself to set an intention for your practice, whatever influenced you to get on this mat today. 3 more breaths. Good. Hands to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Good. Exhale, forward fold. You go ahead and slowly walk the feet in, making sure that they are hip lengths apart. Good. Still keeping that newfound hip hinge here. Hands pressing in onto the mat. Go ahead, create some peace fingers here. Inhale, halfway lift. And then start to navigate your fingers towards the left side for a twist, keeping your hips square. Three breaths. Good, let's go ahead. Walk back to the center, navigate to the right side. Hips are square. Side stretch to the left side body. 3 breaths. And you can go ahead and walk yourself back in front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and this time let's think of a cow spine. So bring the chest up and the tailbone up, sending the stomach down. For 1 breath. And then exhale, cat spine, rounding through the shoulders, bring your chin to the chest. Bend the knees generously, palms face up. Inhale, rise. High mountain. Bring the arm towards the ceiling, pressing the palms together. And then bring your feet together here as our Kali Mudra or our gun is ascending towards the ceiling. We're going to go ahead and inhale, bringing your biceps towards your ears, lifting up through the chest, and start to side bend over towards the right side of the room. 3 breaths. Good. Inhale, rise. Arms are towards the ceiling. Then we exhale, going to side bend over towards the left side. 3 breaths. Good. Inhale, rise. Arms up towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead. Cactus arms. Inhale, open up your chest forward. Elbows are back. Exhale, bring in the forearms. Chin to chest. Good. And then we're going to bring our hands down by our hips. Interlace our fingers here. Rotating our shoulders back into the girdle. Straightening out through the arms. Feet are going to be together here. And inhale, lift up through the chest. Bringing your fist towards the ground. Inhaling, 3 breaths. Inhale, rise. Keeping the fist together. We're going to go ahead and find that hip hinge, forward fold. Find that figure 7. And remember to keep that straight spine, leading that chest forward as well as down. And bringing the fist up towards the ceiling here. Creating this hip hinge. 3 breaths. Inhale, rise. All the way back up. Good. And releasing the arms. Inhaling up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, release. Good. Find yourself to the top of the mat here. I would recommend placing the blanket into the center because we will need it in a few asanas, but preparing won't disrupt our flow. So let's go ahead and prepare those blanket here right into the middle. Good. And possibly actually instead of just the middle, we could take it a little bit more down for our Anjaneyasana in case we need to sprawl. So coming to the front of the mat, let's go ahead, inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling, bringing our knees together. As we bring our knees together and our arms up, we're going to engage the core and come into our chair pose. So keeping the chest lifted, keeping our awareness present here as we create this squat, using that Ujjayi breath, lifting up through the chest and the arms. Good. And slowly getting deeper and deeper. Still seeing the top of our feet. 3 more breaths. Palms together. Exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Let's go ahead, take the left leg back for the running lunge. As we square through the hips in the running lunge, flatten through the left palm and inhale, rise, right arm towards the ceiling. You can either keep it here or you can navigate the right hand behind your spine and guide your right shoulder and pec more towards the ceiling. 3 breaths. Then inhale, rise, right arm towards the ceiling. And we're taking it to the inside of the right foot, left foot, warrior diagonal. Press the tricep and the right knee together. Open up the chest to the left side. Gaze up towards the thumb for 1 breath. And then once you're ready, you can pendulum swing the arm down and towards the front of the mat here, bicep towards the ear. Open up the chest, 3 breaths. Wonderful. Go ahead and swing the left hand down. Lift up through the left ankle here. And pressing the right foot down. Hands pressing into the mat. Inhale, rise. Kick the left leg up towards the ceiling. Half splits. Then forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's go ahead. Take the right leg back. Running lunge. Twist to the left side. Inhale, rise. Left arm. 3 breaths. Or behind your back. Good. And you can take the left hand inside of the left foot. You know what to do from here. Warrior diagonal. Right foot. Inhale, right arm towards the ceiling for 1 breath. Allow yourself to open up through the chest first. And then you can go ahead and pendulum swing the right arm towards the front of the mat. 3 breaths. Good. Drop the right hand, lift up through the right ankle. Half splits. Inhale, kick the right leg up towards the ceiling, and then to the ground. Forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's go ahead, flat palms. And from here, we're going to bring the feet together, engage through the core, and inhale, kick the feet back into plank. Good. Staying here for 1 breath. Good. After that 1 breath, inhale, shift forward, chaturanga all the way to the mat. Good. As we come, inhale, scoop into cobra. Shoulders back. Exhale, release. Hands to the corner of the mat. Inhale, rise into seal pose. So gradual back bend, bringing the chest forward, pressing the palms into the mat. 3 breaths. Good. And exhale. Come back down. Good. And we're going to inhale, rise into your chaturanga, downward facing dog. Good. Your first downward facing dog. So go ahead and create some hip sways, or possibly bring in the ankles at warrior diagonals, whatever you would like to do to help stretch out the hamstrings and to release any tension into the lower spine. Hips up towards the ceiling, engaging through the quads, lifting up the kneecaps. Good. And then we're going to go through 3 vinyasa flows. So from your downward facing dog, you're going to inhale, create a wave, around through the shoulders, coming into plank, engage the core for 1 breath. And shift forward, chaturanga, flip the feet into upward facing dog. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, round through the shoulders, coming into plank. Chaturanga, flip the feet, upward facing dog. And then as we exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. 1 more time. Inhale, round through the shoulders, chaturanga, flip the feet, upward facing dog. And then this time we're going to drop the knees, child's pose, stretch out through the spine. Take a breath or 2 here. Using that Ujjayi breath if needed. Okay. Then you can go ahead and keep yourself on your knees here. And then let's just kind of open up through the hips a little bit. So find that generous tabletop position. And from here, let's go ahead and bend the left knee. Engage the core, left knee to the chest. And then exhale, 3-legged dog. And in a 3, or I should say fire hydrant, excuse me. And as you stay here in the fire hydrant for about 3 breaths, keeping the left foot flexed. Good. You can then go ahead and create some rotations here, as slow or as fast as you like. And then go ahead and reverse the rotation. And then inhale, straighten the left leg back with the toes to the ground. Stretch through the hamstrings for just a breath or two. Good. Come back in the tabletop, lifting up the left leg. And with the left leg coming into tabletop balance, go ahead and lift up through the right arm. 3 breaths. Good. Go ahead, inhale, knee to elbow to the center. And then drop the hands. Straighten the right leg back, toes to the ground. Stretch out through the hamstrings for a couple breaths. Good. Inhale, rise, right leg. And then left arm, balance tabletop for 3 breaths. And then inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, release, bring in the right knee towards the side of the mat here for fire hydrant style. And then in this fire hydrant style, holding it for 3 breaths. Keeping the foot flexed. Good. And then after that, go ahead and create some rotations here. Good. And reversing the rotations. And you go ahead and bring the knees to the ground. Go ahead and take a child's pose. Bring the elbows to the mat, fan above your head. 3 breaths. Good. Coming back into balance tabletop, we're going to make things a little bit more difficult here. So from our bird dog, we're going to go ahead this time. We're going to curl through the toes, and this is where we're going to need that strong core engagement here. With this core building, we're going to go ahead, curl the toes, engage the core, keeping the back as straight as you can. Lift the knees possibly about 3 to 4 inches off the ground. Good, and this one's going to be challenging. We're going to go ahead, sending the left leg back, right leg forward for a breath. Release, very steady. Steadily bring your right leg back straight, left arm straight. Keep that core engaged, 1 breath. Good, and do this 4 more times on each side, trying to keep your spine straight. You only need to go for 1 breath here. And if keeping the shoulders right above the wrists. Good. Good. Even if that means doing 1 arm at a time. Good, and then once you've done your 5, drop the knees down. Come into child's pose. Breathe the palms facing up this time. 3 breaths. Good, you can go ahead and then come forward into a forearm plank here. Good, find that core engagement. And then we're gonna do plank, forearm plank into Sphinx pose for our next favorite variation. So making sure that we're not staying in teepee or hammock, staying into our forearm plank. Good, exhale, bring the stomach down, inhale to Sphinx. Good, 1 breath. On the next inhale, engage the core, plank. Exhale, Sphinx, rise up to the chest. Inhale, plank. Exhale into Sphinx. Good, inhale, plank. Exhale into Sphinx, keeping that core engaged and the quads engaged, making sure that the back is straight. Flexing through the glutes. Good. From here, we should have done 5. Let's do 5 more. So then after you did your 5 more, you can take your hands underneath your forehead here. Flex through the feet and windshield wipe side to side. Good. And then from here, you can go ahead, come out to the right side of your body. Good. Right leg either straight to the ground, or you can have it very slightly bent. And we're going to straighten the left leg. Left hand can either stay onto the hip, onto the ground. The right hand can keep your head stable here. And so for a little bit of some Jane Fonda workouts here, we're going to go ahead and do 10. So flex to the right foot, and from here, this is helping us strengthen through our quads, getting a little bit of booty action, but also, most importantly, getting more inside of our lower core here. Good. So wherever your left hand feels comfortable, go ahead and flex to the left foot 10 times. Inhale, raise the leg up. And exhale, have it hover. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hover. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hover. Do 10. Then after we have done our 10, then we'll go ahead and allow our leg to hover. And then we're going to go inhale, rise, bringing our left arm towards the ceiling and towards the front of the mat. And then we're going to do some side crunches here. So on an inhale, we're going to rise, both legs straight up towards the sky, and then to bend where the elbow need to touch. To then re-straighten and bring to neutral. And we're going to do this 10 times. Inhale, rise to crunch. Straight, neutral. Good. We're going to go ahead and do this for a total of 10. So from here, we should be at 5. Nice and concentrated. And then once you have reached your 10, we're going to go ahead straight through the left leg. Bring the left hand back to the mat or onto your hip and do 10 more Jane Fondas. So inhale, lift up the leg. Exhale, back down. Keeping that core engaged as we move here. And keeping the right foot as well pressing into the ground so that we can keep our body stable. So we're not wobbling to and fro. And then once we have done our 10, we can go ahead, connect the touch, going back into our stomach, and then rotating our wrists. Just doing some wrist therapies here. And then we can go ahead and go onto the side of our left. And then the bottom leg can be very slightly bent at the knee if you need that extra support here. Right hand can stay onto the mat or to the hip. Flex to the right foot. 10 Jane Fondas. Inhale towards the ceiling and exhale, release. Making sure that we keep ourselves engaged. And keeping our arms supporting ourselves, the right hand, so that we're not flipping and flopping. Right foot stays flexed. Using that Ujjayi breath here to keep our core engaged. Then after we've done our 10, inhale, rise. Right up towards the ceiling and towards the front of the mat. Then inhale, rise both limbs up, crunch in the center. Inhale, rise, straighten. Inhale, rise, crunch. Inhale, rise, straighten. Do 8 more for a total of 10. And then once you've done the 10, you're going to go ahead, 10 more Jane Fondas. 10 more Jane Fondas. So we'll place the top hand to keep on the mat to keep you stable here. And go ahead and do 10 Jane Fondas. Inhale, rise. So release. Then after 10, slowly rise onto your stomach. Bring in the rest above your head. Go ahead and do some wrist therapies. Good. And then we can make sure that our 2 blocks are prepared into the front of the mat. Hands pressing out to the blocks. All right, and we're going to come into a supported locust here. So with the blocks in front, we're going to create like karate and chop arms here. And lifting up through the chest to keep us supported. And then on the next inhale, we're going to blanket should be underneath your pelvic. It'll feel good. But flex your toes to the back of the room. And then inhale, rise, toes up towards the ceiling. Hold for 10 breaths. And on the 5th breath, if you feel lucky, you can rise your arms off of the blocks for full locust pose. Go ahead, after those 5 breaths, release the legs, release the arms. Take a breath or 2. All right. Working more onto the lower legs and more into the lower core work. We're going to do some swimmers. So with the swimmers, we're going to keep our arms balanced here onto the blocks, keeping us nice and stable, shoulders away from the ears. And with that, lifting up our feet off the ground, just for the bottom legs into bottom leg locust pose. And for 10 breaths, point the toes back, swim your legs. Keep the front core engaged, the chest engaged. Good, so that we're able to keep our back stable. This is also helping us strengthen through the quads as well. Go as fast or as slow as you'd like. And after the 10 breaths, slowly release the feet. Take a breath or 2 here. Good. I'm going to take the arms to our sides. Rotate the shoulders back. Straighten our fingers out towards the back of the room. And as we inhale, we're going to inhale, rise, lift up through our chest, coming into locust pose for just the front of our body. Arms to the sides. We're going to do some side locust, so keeping our core engaged and our vision focused. And inhale, side bend to the left. Exhale to the center. Inhale, side bend to the right. Exhale to center, and do 5 more on each side. Pressing the top of your feet into the mat to help keep your balance here. Good. Once you've done the 5 on each side, go ahead, release to the center. Good. And then from here, you're going to go ahead, inhale into your upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, giving your low spine a little bit of some relief. Good. Now then, you're getting yourself into this hip hinge. Do a couple breaths. And we're going to lift the tailbone, bend the knees, eye gaze forward, press the hands down, and inhale, hop, forward fold, Uttanasana. We're going to go ahead and grab on to the blocks here. Good. And you can go ahead and have it onto either the highest setting or the second highest setting here. And we're going to do some little toe pikes, little toe taps here. So pressing your hands into the mat, lifting up your tailbone, pressing the right foot to the ground. Inhale, flex the left foot, and lift up that foot so that the leg is straight and the foot is flexed. Inhale, tap the block, release. Inhale, flex to the right foot, lift it up, tap the block, and release. Good. Go ahead and do this 10 times on each side. Keeping the front core engaged and keeping the legs engaged here. And this allows us to create more control with our legs while our quads are engaged, our kneecap is engaged, and our core is engaged so that we can free form move them more freely. Good. And then after you've done the 10 on each side, forward fold, release. Good. Swing yourself side to side. And then we're going to go ahead, grab onto the blocks, bring it to the highest setting. And then with the highest setting, we're going to go ahead, flex through the right foot. Inhale, bring the right foot towards the sky into standing splits. Good. And to keep the foot flexed here, we're going to flex it and swing that leg through, nice and straight and hovering, just like we did with the toe tap. Bend the left leg and bring the right leg forward, using the blocks to support you. Inhale, swing that leg back, don't touch the ground. Inhale, half splits, and do this 5 more times. Good. And so this, again, will help bring in that control when we have our core engaged. And this can help us to build some of that strength into our spine, into our core. The more that we navigate through tougher movements like pistol squats. And once you've done 5, you go ahead and release. Shake out the hips. Good. And then you go ahead and do it to the opposite side here. Good. Go ahead and lift up to the left leg. Inhale, half splits for a few breaths. Good. Keeping that leg engaged. Hinge by the hips. Good. Inhale, flex through the foot. Bring it down. And then straighten forward. Bend at the right knee. Good. Inhale, lift. Half splits. 4 more times for a total of 5. Using that Ujjayi breath. Once you've done your 5, you can go ahead, release, hip hinge forward fold. And then you can spread your knees apart, ankles in. Go ahead, squat all the way down into your Malasana pose. Let's straighten it out through the spine, chest is up, tailbone is down, and knees are apart. 10 breaths, use that Ujjayi breath. Go ahead with the 10 breaths. Go ahead and navigate your seat to the ground, keeping the palms together, the chest lifted. Bring the blocks away from now. Good. Actually, you should grab one, place it to the side. Good. And maybe find yourself onto a blanket, make it a little more comfortable. Find yourself into a boat pose. So inhale, rise, arms forward, and shoulders away from the ears, chest forward, engaging the back core, and lifting up through the toes here. Good. And from here, we are going to alternate 5 times so the shins are parallel. So we're going to navigate from supported, air quote, boat pose to then full boat pose. And we're going to bring in our knees each time to help her step. So to give you an example, keeping the arms forward, chest up. Shins are parallel to the ground. Inhale, bring the knees in. Extend the leg out. Exhale. Engage the core. Inhale, bring the knees in and shins. Inhale, knees in. Exhale, straight. Inhale, in and shins. Inhale, in, straight. Inhale, in, shins. 3 more times. And then you go ahead, feet down after the 3 times. And then kind of hang over your knees and just kind of rock side to side, giving your spine a little break. And then grabbing a block and placing it just onto the side setting here, so not the super tall one, just the side. And placing it into the middle, right in front of you. Good. And you want to place it far enough because we're going to have our feet together where we don't have to stretch our feet super far forward. And we're using it as a little bit of a hunch to go over while keeping our feet together. And if it's hard to keep your knees together here, you can put a block in between your knees to help create a sense of grounding here. So we're going to go ahead and come into that boat pose, shins together, possibly knee between the knees or maybe not. But find that V into your lower body, into your boat pose, and engage the front core and back core. And then from here, inhale, bring the heels to touch to the right side of the block. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dip to the left. Inhale, rise to the right. Inhale, rise, dip to the left. Okay, keeping the knees together. Do this for 10 more times. Okay, keeping that figure V. Keeping that low core engaged, using that Ujjayi breath. And then once you have done your 10 on each side, you then go ahead, remove the blocks, bring your hands behind your back, and the knees, windshield wipe side to side. And you're going to go ahead, shoulders right above your wrists, good feet down, and we come into inverted table position. So finding that core engagement here, let's go ahead and navigate. Inhale, our hips up towards the ceiling. We have our knees right above our ankles and our shoulders right above our wrists. And helping us open more through the chest. Use that Ujjayi breath. Count 5 more breaths. Good. And very slowly release the hips. And then from here, let's go ahead. Slowly navigate our spine to the mat. Hugging our knees in, rocking side to side. And if you have your strap nearby, go ahead and find your strap. Place them around both of your feet here and inhale. Bring your feet up towards the ceiling. Inverted staff pose, shoulders to the ground, heels up, toes up. You gotta navigate your tailbone towards the ground. 5 breaths. Inhale, guide both knees towards the chest. Heel down, or heels pressed into the strap. Tailbone down. 3 breaths. Gotta lead the right leg in, extend the left leg forward. Holding it here for 5 breaths. Keep making sure that the leg is straight as you navigate it towards your body. After the 5 breaths, bring the left leg in. Extend the right leg out. Heel to the ground. Inhale. Guide the leg closer towards your chest. 5 breaths. Good. And then go ahead. Bring the right leg in. Good. For 3 more breaths. Bend the knees. Remove the strap. Hug the right knee into your chest. Extend the left leg out. As you do so, supine twist, keeping both shoulders to the ground. Right leg towards the left side of the room. 5 breaths. After the 5 breaths, inhale, bring the knee up. Left knee to follow, straighten the right leg. You know what to do from here, supine twist. Left knee towards the right side, keeping both shoulders on the ground. And after counting for 5 breaths, you can bring your spine to the floor. And then from here, inhale, bring your arms above your head, heels towards your glutes, coming into bridge pose for 5 breaths. Inhale, bring your hips towards the ceiling. 5 breaths, keep the knees in. After those 5 breaths, very slowly bring the hips to the ground. Point your toes to the mat. Take your final long stretch. Inhale in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. From here, you can go ahead and lie wherever's comfortable for the next few moments. So as you lie here in your Shavasana, I picked a quote that resonated with what's going on in the world today about fear, love, and power. And this quote is by Veronica Roth. That I wonder if fears ever really go away or if they just lose their power over us. So you're more than welcome to stay here in your Shavasana, but if you would like to carry on through the rest of your night, you can begin to find micro movements from your toes, your ankles, and your fingers and your wrists. Very gently start to reawaken your body. And as we begin to feel awakened here, you can inhale, bring your arms above your head, and bring your knees in towards your chest. Take a deep inhale through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. You're welcome to guide your knees to the left or right. Then very softly find yourself into a comfortable seated position. As you find yourself in the seated position, you can go ahead and take your hands into the heart center and take a bow for yourself for taking the time to come to class and to share this virtual space with all of our climbing neighbors and friends that we miss so dearly, and so eagerly are we waiting to see each other once again, and to wish peace and health for the rest of your night. And namaste. Well, thank you very much for attending the 6 p.m. class. If you're looking for some more awesome core and leg workouts, you are more than welcome to stick around for the next class. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and prepare for that. I hope to see you in case you'd like to do more. Other than that, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.